Okay, I'm going to try to keep this video a little short, but this is a ongoing project I'm working on. This is to quit smoking cigarettes, something that I wish to do. And now I'm not doing it because anybody else wants me to do it. That wouldn't work. I have to choose to quit smoking for my own. Now, one of my inspirations for this. Now, I've already had plans for quitting. It's one of the things that Azazel is helping me with, is breaking unhealthy habits. Um, but I'm subscribed to Savannah from Black Witch Coven on Facebook, and she asked about if anybody had any questions of spells that they'd like help with, or at least, had any ideas or advice. And I told her that I'd like to quit smoking. Now, I'm not going to pull it up on here because I don't want to be disrespectful to her. I feel like that was in private. However, she inspired this. I've already seen plenty of videos, and if you look, you can find videos on how to make sigils. But yeah, she kind of inspired this. She also mentioned that in order to, you get some kind of that, not just a nicotine, but you do get a feel-good sensation when you smoke, which is part of what makes it addicting, aside from the actual nicotine in it. And that I would have to find something to replace that that rush. Whether it be like projects or just a distraction of some sort. So I have been keeping myself more busy, trying to keep myself distracted from smoking. However, I want to also point out that there are some challenges that, each individual is different. I've seen people, not very many, but I'm friends with somebody who used to smoke and just quit cold turkey. If you can do that, awesome. But that person doesn't have very many, the person I'm speaking of specifically doesn't have an addictive nature. And that kind of goes into this. So, real quick, stress. I'm in a stressful situation as far as lifestyle where I'm stuck in, trying to move and so forth. So that's kind of stressful. Then I have, so that's one of the things that'll cause you to want to smoke. Or if you smoke already, it doesn't help any. Then you got the genetic addiction trait, where it's proven that if, say you got family members, great uncles or grandparents or whatever that also have a addiction trait, to where it doesn't have to be drugs. It could be gambling. It can be something, there's many different things you can be addicted to. But some people are more inclined to be addicted to one thing or another than others, and that is something that I'm having to face. It's not unusual for me to find something to be obsessed with, but like in this case, we're talking about like with cigarettes or something, or drugs or whatever. Now I've not done really any hard drugs, but smoking pot or cigarettes, that's something that comes natural. Now, I've never really had, this is the offering I have for Azazel, and I don't smoke these. This has been there for like 2 weeks. Now, I do drink on a rare occasion, but I've not had that problem. I'm not really addicted to liquor. And then, on the third part, habit of nicotine and crabbing. So yeah, just, you're enjoying a good song or movie after you eat, or maybe during a video game or something, you're like, time to take a break. If you already smoke, you're like, alright, let's light up and take about 5 minutes and think of what we're going to do next. It's a habit. That's what that is. So, okay. This is how you make the sigil. At least this is the method that I've learned. Again, there's more than one video out there of this. But, for example, now my intentions is for cigarettes. Everything else isn't that really as difficult. So I put quit smoking, and then what I have here is the process that I've learned is first you take out every non-vowel. Okay, so Q, T, S, M, K, N, and G. Okay, so that you drop the And you also want to take out any double actual valves. So I've already got one I here, you don't need two, so I cross that out. Now out of all this, that leaves you with 3 letters. Now I did have some, let me see if I got the rough draft somewhere. I may have disposed of it, but yeah, you kind of mess around with these letters, turn them different ways. There's all kinds of different setup that you can do. I'm going to go ahead and draw this on here. So here's what I came up with this after some experimentation, is if I draw a cursive U and put this O here, which represents this, it's going to be kind of sitting in front of where the I will be. So then here I put the I, and obviously with the, it's a little sloppy because I'm looking at the camera too. But yeah, this is the sigil I came up with. So you got the I in the back, the U, and the O. Now, this is a sigil that I made. If you was going to try this, you could do, whatever works for you. I just want to show exactly how that's layered. So, now the charge of sigil, you just, there's again videos on it, but I just concentrate on it and try to remember every time I look at this symbol what it stands for. So I've got it marked on my cigarette. Whenever I have a pack, I go to open one, I'll put this sigil on there. Every time I look at it, I remember that I'm wanting to cut back to the point of quitting. Now, this is going to be in stages, because first I want to get rid of the actual cigarettes and get rid of, the ashtrays. I mean, it makes a mess, and I went from rolling cigarettes by hand with these, and that makes a big mess. So get rid of the ashtray smell and get rid of the ashtrays altogether is a really big step. So first I want to get rid of cigarettes, but that doesn't get rid of the nicotine problem. I'll cover that in a second. So here we go. This is the progress that I've made. I've been keeping a little journal here. I gotta be careful not to some information over there. It's not related. But yeah, I started this on the 4th. I don't know if you can see that real well. Okay, so yeah, I started on the 4th, and I've kept track of every time I went to smoke a cigarette. Now, I've never done this before, but every time I went to smoke a cigarette, I'd write the time, and I try to keep it at half a cigarette at a time. That's right there. I was already trying to cut back. Now, I was still getting pretty hot on the how many cigarettes I smoked. Again, this is like the 2nd day. Now, I've kept track, and I'm not going to go through on here because I've already wrote down how many per day. I'm just showing, like, it's been a journey for sure. And this is where I'm at today. It's past 12:30 now, but anyhow, so I won't smoke another half a cigarette until 1:30. That's something I've started just the other day. I've been wanting to do it for a while, is get it to where I'm smoking no more than half a cigarette per hour. That doesn't sound like much to someone who doesn't smoke, but for someone who smokes easily, a pack and a half, that's 30 cigarettes. I've cut down quite considerably. So here's where the progress I've made since I started this trial. And I focused on this every day I focus on cutting back. So from the 4th, 14, 13 and a half, 9, and it's going to vary a little, 15.5. The first good part of this week is just getting in a habit of me writing down, like I said, keeping track of the time when I go to light. But I think I've made pretty significant progress considering I went from 30 a day, if I didn't pay attention on average, down to, 7.5, 8, 7.5, that's the past 3 days. That's pretty significant. I mean, for me, everybody's different. Now, I've done a couple of things to help out with this. I'm kind of leery about showing this. However, as an educational video, and I don't encourage, if you can do this without this, please do. I'm over 21, so, but there's two things I've been taking advantage of. One is, you can, at least where I live, you can buy legal bud. It's not the same thing as what I used to get. However, it's legal, and I'm not going to get in trouble for it. I'm trying to get to where you can actually read it for yourself. There you go. But yeah, it's this Delta smoke. Now, I don't smoke a lot of this. What I do is I hate showing this. This gets banned, and I don't know why. But yeah, I don't encourage drug smoke or anything like that. But this is legal pot. I'm over 21. And on occasion, I'll take a couple hits off of this. That relaxes me, where I'm not wanting the bud as much. And then there's, hold on for a sec. I had it out. Here we go. And then there's this. Now, I try not to use this too much. And I bought this vaporizer and a, one of the, here, I'll show the label. Now, you might be wondering, what's the point of quitting smoking if I'm still, using a vape that has nicotine in it? So, here's what's going on with this, and why I think that it's still beneficial. Is, again, my goal is to quit smoking the actual cigarettes first. Then, I can cut back on nicotine. Now, this is already a smaller dose that, taking a couple of hits off of this vape does actually help with the craving. And that's how I'm able to get down to, like 7.5 to 8 cigarettes a day. Think about that for a minute. That's half of what I normally, it's 30 to 14. It's a little less than half. And then half of that by the second week. So, to me, this is helping. Now, by doing it like this, this is the smaller dose that I'm using. There are stronger percentages. So, by using a already small percentage to cut back with this, once I quit the cigarettes, I'll still have to quit the nicotine. I accept this. This is part of the deal. However, it's easier to quit when you just take less and less hits off of this. And you don't have an ashtray and all that to tempt you. So it's a work in progress. And I can come and go with the bud. It just helps because of the stressful situation with everything else. It takes some of the chill off, but that's not necessary. And this helps. But I intend to quit this altogether. So, I've used a couple of tools, and I'm not going to, it wouldn't be educational if I hid that away. But it is making a difference. And focusing on the Sigil, every time I go to take a hit, or go to smoke a cigarette, it does help. The last thing I'll show is when I go to take a cigarette out, I draw a line on it to show this is where I stop at. And then I'll put it out halfway. So, this is a little longer than I intended. I'll cut it there. But I hope if anybody else is smoking and is trying to quit, that this might help.